Hello, everyone. So, Juju. Well, first of all, I've had a few questions, so I just added the slide just before starting this presentation to explain who Canonical is. Canonical is the company that supports Ubuntu. It's the company that employs most of the people working on the Ubuntu platform, which are not community members. Half of our contribution are coming from this team, the other half is coming from the community. Ubuntu is today a success not only anymore on the desktop, but also in the cloud. And we are quite proud to state now that Ubuntu is the #1 cloud OS. And that's the truth, not only as a guest in the cloud, but also as the host that is used in more and more deployment to deploy open source cloud, whether it is using Eucalyptus, OpenStack, or OpenNebula. The choice that we've made recently to switch to OpenStack was driven mostly by community reason and the adaptation. But we are very happy to see a platform that is growing very rapidly and getting many, many partners. I believe there is great future in open source cloud. Personally, I've just recently been appointed as a director of the Open Cloud Initiative. Some very interesting principle defined on the opencloudinitiative.org website. You may want to have a look at it the next time you decide which provider to use. Anyway, back to Juju. As we've been dealing with cloud, we've been realizing very quickly that what cloud was bringing was ability to give elasticity to people. And when you're talking about elasticity, managing machines is not anymore the best concept you can deal with. What Juju is offering is to manage services, not machines anymore. So if we look at a traditional stack, we have the hardware that will always exist. You'll have an operating system. You'll have a virtualization layer. You'll have, in this virtualization layer, maybe cloud infrastructure as a service included. People will use configuration management to automatically deploy machines, and configuration management is really great when you've got a large number of machines to handle, to reproduce your deployments over multiple machines. However, there was a missing link, a link that would allow to express, not in terms of machines anymore, but in terms of services, how things interact together, especially when you scale it in and out. This is coming from the work we've been seeing and then embracing of a new kind of people. These people are generally called DevOps, people that are mixing the experience of a developer with the experience of an operator to deploy stuff in the cloud. What the cloud brings to a developer is suddenly the ability to be its own operator. It doesn't rely anymore on the infrastructure people to deploy his application. And the operator suddenly can become a developer and apply his knowledge of being an operator to the development he makes. When you do this, one thing that is occurring to you is that the less you deal with the machines, the abstraction layer that the cloud brings to you is great when you are at the infrastructure as a service level, but you're still dealing with machines. And the less you're dealing with machines, the freer you are to actually deliver what you want. And it's actually much easier to explain to, when I'm a developer or an operator, to explain to my CIO what I'm doing in terms of services. I want to put in place a service to handle the emailing campaign. That's something you understand. I want to install Ubuntu or Windows or Red Hat on a machine to send email, and I want to install this on another machine to review contents. This is not speaking to a CIO. So really, having the ability to raise the abstraction layer to service is something really important. In Juju, we've been defining what a service is through a concept called charms. A charm is a definition that is meant to be completely shareable and reusable. The idea here is that you want to be able to share this charm and reuse it as many times as you can without modification outside of the configuration of the charm. Of course, the first time you write a charm, you don't get everything, every use case. But over time, if this charm is shared and there is a community that builds around it that can add to the configuration option, you will have a build-up that will bring all the configuration that one can dream of in time. So for example, instead of having a MySQL charm for standalone MySQL, another charm for replicated MySQL, why not have an option that says, oh, activate replication in my charm? To deploy a charm and all the vocabulary and the basic concepts around Juju are very closely related to our experience with dealing with packages. Debian packages that we use in Ubuntu did bring a breakthrough some 15 years ago in the way people were deploying software. And what we're trying to do with Juju is the same thing, but going from packages that are on a single machine to services that are deployed on a multitude of machines. The idea here is, as we have in the APT repositories, something like 33,000 packages that represent something like 3,500 application, end-user application, we want to build a collection of charm that will mean that you'll have the charm you want when you need it. And if you're developing your own application, generally this application is interacting with services. And if you can only care about writing the charm for your custom application and describe how it can interact with other services and automatically benefit from them, it is a direct benefit to you. The idea of Juju is to focus on delivering service units that are focusing about one service. Okay? In a charm, we don't want to have 220 services being expressed. We want these services to be autonomous, but then know about the relationship they can have with one another. The way we've written Juju is that we have something in Juju called a provider. And the provider is completely independent of the charm. My provider is going to transform things I've expressed in my charm into action into a cloud, like Amazon EC2, or any EC2 compliant cloud, or into OpenStack, or into, why not, a bare metal machine provider such as Orchestra, which is a tool that we've built into Ubuntu to deploy bare metal operating system on bare metal. So we have the ability to express services. We have the ability to define providers and independently choose at deployment time where the deployment goes.